Let it go, let it go. Hey everyone, it's me Ellen and welcome to Xbox On, and we're here in Malmö, Sweden, having a look at Massive Studios' work on Tom Clancy The Division, and it seems like Sweden knew we were coming because they've decided to match the in-game weather. Now it's lunchtime, so we're going to try and sneak in and see what we can have a look at and see if there's anyone we can nab to have a chat to, so let's go. I'm here with Magnus, the creative director on Tom Clancy's The Division. Thanks very much for having us.
Well, thanks for being here.
So what was the inspiration for the setting of the game?
When we wanted to show the fall of society, what better place to do that than basically the pinnacle of society, the most amazing symbol, what happens when that stumbles. So as you're roaming the streets of New York, and it's the most amazing recreation to date in any video game of New York City. It's a one-to-one almost.
Yeah, it was amazing, I must say, walking around it myself. Now you also said that you based the whole kind of concept on real life events.
Being a Tom Clancy game, it's incredibly important for us to be grounded in reality. The US government did an exercise to simulate what would happen to the continental US if something like a smallpox virus were to erupt. And the results of that exercise were not uplifting. Basically, everything broke down, all the basic services ceased to function, and society, as we know it, basically was on the brink of collapsing. And that's where we decided to step in and create the fictional agency of The Division.
So we've heard a lot about the Dark Zone. What can players expect when they enter there?
Just like anywhere else in the game, you just move into it seamlessly. There's no loading, no matchmaking, and no lobby. You enter into this multiplayer enabled space, and then suddenly you can run into strangers, and you can choose to engage with them and kill them and steal some of their stuff. But it's all up to you. You make the rules. So it's an incredibly tense experience because you don't know what that other player is going to do.
So is it a vastly different experience from the rest of the city?
You have the same skills, you have your same character, your same loadout, your same guns. It's not a different experience. It's not like other games where you go out to a menu and you choose multiplayer and it's a different character, it's a different rules, different experience.
Because it is that multiplayer place, some people might feel a bit worried if they're a brand new player to it, if they just go in and they're just going to get taken out immediately. So what have you done to deal with that?
Doing the Dark Zone and doing the server technology behind it and being able to achieve this seamless transfer from your own personal space into the multiplayer space. Obviously, we also added matchmaking and under the hood consideration. It's invisible to you, but when you step in there, you're not going to be put in with high-level characters. You're going to be put in with people that are roughly the same level as you. So you're not going to be sort of completely owned by high-level characters that decide to go down into the area where new players are and take them out, because they're going to be on a different server.
So in the Dark Zone, there is a risk that some people might just want to go around and try and take out everyone. So what things have you put in to deal with that?
There's consequences to going rogue, which is what we call it when an agent opens fire on another agent, which you can only do inside the Dark Zone. First of all, when you go rogue, you get a timer. You're now rogue for a certain amount of time. So if you can sweat that out, if you can survive counterattacks and retaliation, then you're home free. I mean, you get whatever you manage to steal while rogue, and there's no penalties. If you're a really, really bad person and you've killed a lot of people, then we add a bounty on your head. So suddenly all players in the sort of area in the Dark Zone will be notified where you are, and if they kill you, they're gonna get a big reward. So that's a really, really hard thing to survive.
There's often a worry with games that encourage multiplayer and co-op that single player experiences often get kind of put on the sideline and not focused on.
It's been a big focus of the team and me personally to create a great immersive single player experience that has a rewarding narrative and story, and where you get to an actual conclusion that you feel that you had an impact on the world. You feel that you were the hero that got to go through a journey and then to take back New York and succeed. It's also important not just for solo players, but for people that are co-op players, because sometimes your co-op buddies aren't online. So you want to be playing a great single player while waiting for them to come online. And then when they do come online, you get a notification and one click, you join up and then you continue on your way.
What RPG elements are there in the game?
We're strong and deep RPG, but we're a classless RPG. So one of the things that many RPGs in the beginning, you create your character, your physical appearance, and we do that, but we don't ask you to pick a class. We have strong roles, just not classes, because it's important that you can reconfigure your role depending on, oh, I'm playing with this group who have these people and their preferences, or I'm playing solo, so I need to be more well-rounded.
Dispatch, situation outside is now under control.
Well, I understand you did a lot of work on the world building of the game. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Obviously, the world of the Division isn't just New York. It's New York that's been ravaged by a virus. So what does that mean in terms of, let's say, Madison Square Garden? You've got the arena, you've got the backstage, you've got the seats, you've got the VIP boxes. And then you start thinking, okay, how does a virus affect this sort of space? Maybe the arena would become a field hospital. Okay, so you start propping it with hospital beds, movable beds, which double up as covers because of a cover-based shooter. And you start building this fantasy of, okay, a normal, recognizable location, but transformed by this catastrophe. And then on top of that, there's a third layer, which is how are the factions who have taken over or stormed this location trying to find medical supplies, how have they transformed it too? So you build layer by layer and the environment itself becomes a narrative tool.
So what led to the decision to set it kind of around that kind of Christmas time? Because it's a beautiful setting, but like it's quite dark as well.
I think what's great about Christmas is that it's just after Black Friday. It's a huge shopping day where a lot of money changes hands. So the virus was actually impregnated on money, and Black Friday was used as the vector to spread it as fast as possible. The epicenter of it is in New York.
So the game is also, it's very open world and non-linear. So how do you approach the narrative in the game?
Our solution here was to split the main story into 3 story threads. So every mission that you do is going to be linked to one of those story threads and is going to give you a little piece of a puzzle for that story thread. And once you've completed all of the missions in that story thread, you'll have all of the pieces of the puzzle, it'll be put together, you'll get an extra piece that will give you a different perspective on the story. And the 3 story threads are the virus, who created it, why they created it, and if there's an antidote. One about the factions and their genesis and how you push them back. And the third is about putting infrastructure back online, but also about something else that I can't talk about too much.